Dominoes are falling into place. The 49ers are making quick moves, and these are big moves. I can't wait to break the latest one down with you, as well as respond to a couple of super interesting comments on your end that you guys made in the last couple of videos. If you're new here, I'm Nate, and if you're looking for daily 49ers content, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the action. But the news coming out today, no surprise to you, is that the 49ers hired Brant Boyer to their new special team as their new special teams coach. Boyer, 53, had the same job with the Jets since 2016, which means his units were solid enough to survive 3 regime changes in New York. That's a pretty big deal. That's something noteworthy, but there's so many other noteworthy things that I'm just going to keep going. Don't go anywhere. Boyer spent 9 seasons as the Jets special teams coordinator. Per the Niners, Boyer led a special teams unit that was tied for second in total touchdowns, second in block punts, and tied for 5th in special teams points scored at 63. An opponent kickoff return average of 21.8 in that time. It keeps getting better. The defensive value over average for the Jets special teams, let's see here. We're at 29th. They had 5 different kickers. Let's see here. 5th in 2023, 2nd in 2022, 2nd in 2021, 4th in 2020, 2nd in 2019. That's all pretty good there. In 2024 was not great, and we won't bother reading into all the details there. One more, and I'll skip the first half because I already quoted it, which came from the Niners themselves, but coached up 2 All-Pro returners and was on the staff with McAfee Vinatieri with the Colts before joining the Jets. He has led a really good unit and seems to be well regarded with his players. Lots of good stuff there, folks. Lots of good positive energy. One more, and I promise that's the last one. The 49ers now have the experience and pedigree at all 3 coordinator positions where Kyle Shanahan shouldn't have to play helicopter head coach. He can strictly focus on the offense. Saleh and Boyer can handle their own units. We should be getting a more streamlined 49ers in 2025. And I want to get into what that means in like 10 seconds, but it's worth at least mentioning. This is an interesting move for the 49ers organization because Saleh is obviously a big part of it, which is why I said in the title that he wastes 0 time, because it seemed like the Saleh thing, once it happened, we were already starting to hear about the Boyer potential thing, and then boom, it gets done. Saleh, Boyer, all these things are happening really fast, and it seems to me that the 49ers were interested in what Saleh, what his position was on working with the guy because he was his head coach after all. And so I'm stoked about it. I think this is a great move. And you know what, all I wanted, and I wrote it in the title so I wouldn't forget on this slide, all I wanted for special teams is get experience. I don't want to see, I know that Nick Sorensen had 1 year where he was a special teams coordinator. I don't want to see a guy who has not done this before or who has barely done this before. I wanted to see the 49ers go and pick up somebody who is professional, who's been there, who's done that, who's had good seasons and bad seasons. Honestly, all you want from your special teams coordinator is just do the bare minimum plus a little fancy stuff now and then. You don't want a special teams coordinator who's trying to prove themselves and going out there and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. I know I said it was 10 seconds, I swear. Sorry, I'm almost done. But you just need a guy who can go out there and can do a solid job. Just give me a base level special teams where the default worst case scenario is that your special teams is top of the middle of the pack. And I'm so happy with that after what we've had in the past, the last year, whatever. I'd just be stoked by that. And I'm stoked that the 49ers picked it up because I think they got that. Okay, so what should the 49ers, with all this extra time, what should they be focusing on? Because that was kind of what Sterling Bennett just said. This means that the 49ers organization as a whole isn't trying to helicopter head coach or anything like that. That was a great play on words there, by the way. I love that little sneaky, funny one that you put in there, Sterling. But where should the focus go? PFF. I saw this today on Twitter first and then checked it out on PFF myself. But PFF put out the projected value for each of the players. And I'm going to go in order, okay? Even though I have Greenlaw in the picture so you know where I stand on the Greenlaw issue. But Charvarius Ward's projected contract throughout this offseason is to be a 3-year, $14.5 million average per year contract with $25 million guaranteed, a $43.5 million 43.5 total deal. Should the 49ers do it? I think you already know where I stand on the Charvarius Ward. I think you are probably on the same page after all of the heartache he has experienced. I don't see a world in which he comes back. He already said his girlfriend wouldn't come, and he's admitted before leaving that it was going to be hard. It was already hard for him to come back, and it would be hard for him to think about coming back. So he's gone. Like, there's just, regardless of what you think. And you know what we saw at Charvarius Ward in 2023, my word, I would have loved to have that Mooney Ward this season. And that was a huge loss, and I'm going to miss him, and I'm really sad for what's happened with his family. It's a tragedy, and there's no other way to slice it. Moving on to the 18th ranked PFF ranked, what's the word I'm looking for? Free agent, unrestricted free agent. Dre Greenlaw is projected to get a 1-year, $6 million deal, $5 million guaranteed. Would you do the deal? Just comment below right now. Would you do the deal? Because at $6 million, 100%, I already did the deal. I did it. Once I saw it, boom, I did the deal. If I were the Niners and it was like, oh, Dre's just looking for $6 million, oh, done. Okay. It's that simple to me. Honestly, it really is that simple. They already, never mind. I'm not even going to go into the Devondre Campbell thing. Like, I'm not even going to go into it, but this is just like so smart. This is smart. This is smart business. If he's truly goes out there and this is what free agency, this is what he's getting on the open market, potentially $6 million, the Niners need to be in there saying, we will match that 100%. That's my opinion. I know we have some health concerns. I get it, right? He's not old, okay? He still has a shot to go and have like several fantastic years. Yes, he's had his injuries. I get it. I would take the risk. That's just my personal opinion. You can disagree. That's okay. All right, Talanoa Hufanga. Where do you stand on 2 years, $12.5 million average per year, $16 million guaranteed, $25 million total over 2 years? The Hufanga one's an interesting one for me. I don't really know what's going to happen here. I think you have two young safeties that are pretty decent. And so you're kind of in a weird, maybe you go and pick up a different veteran guy, maybe a little bit cheaper. I don't know how the 49ers from a cap position are going to handle all of the players that they have to bring in. We've talked about them before, but it's a lot of guys, and it's on every single position almost. You need somebody coming in, and you can't fill all of those with rookies. We already have 2 rookie safeties. Jair Brown was not the same guy that he was last year, filling in for Talanoa Hufanga. So there's a question there. And I think obviously you want to have a solid free safety, a solid strong safety, and we do need to round out that position. That's my opinion. I'm just going to go with my gut here and say that the 49ers are probably not going to bring Hufanga back. That being said, there was something there when he came on the field. It definitely made an impact. I don't think he's coming back. I'm not even sure it would be the right move to bring him back. As much as it saddens me to say that, I would like to see someone who's a little more, who we can trust a little bit more. But we do need some leadership there, and we would miss that leadership from Hufanga for sure. Let me know what you think on that one, by the way. Hufanga, keep him or don't? Aaron Banks, he's gone. I'm just telling you flat out. I think he's going to be gone. I think the 49ers are going to take their shot for the offensive line it's going to be that classic, like you're drafting guys and you're bringing in cheap veterans, and you're just going to let that situation play out the way it is. The 49ers are definitely not, I don't think, I could be wrong. I do not believe they're going to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. I think maybe the situation would be different if Trent Williams was gone and we knew he was gone, he was retiring or something. But the 49ers, the way that they've talked about how they draft players, I think you're going to see an edge rusher. I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a defensive lineman in the first round, and I'm stoked about it. I'm not even mad about it. Aaron Banks is projected to have $15 million guaranteed and a $25 million deal over 3 years, and I don't think the 49ers are going to pay it. That's my opinion. One more to throw out there from Leroy yesterday, or I guess it was today, said this is a good time to get Saleh because he will be helping to pick the pieces he needs from the draft. Besides Singletary's defense, Saleh has an aggressive get-after-him approach. He recognizes dogs when he sees them. It's going to be a lot of old-fashioned woo licks on the field this year. And I hope you're right, Leroy. I agree with you, by the way, and I think it's something for us to remember. The going all in, putting all your eggs in the Saleh basket was risky, but it paid off that Liam Cohen took that Jags job. And honestly, it'll be better for Saleh in the long run. Let's be honest. it's just a better situation for him. I'm not at all confident in what Liam Cohen, after the things that happened today, I'm not confident at all in what that's going to happen, how that's going to play out, and if players are going to even trust him and build rapport and all that. We'll see. We got a long ways to go, obviously, but I think that you're right. I think that there's a really good benefit to knowing exactly what you want for a given scheme that fits what your head coach wants. That, like, it's a good situation, and he's got a good eye for talent, clearly. So I'm with you 100%. We do have to shout out somebody else, though, because we have not done the shout out of the day, which is Nehemiah, and an honorable mention to Steve, who commented on Nehemiah's comment saying, we need to find a replacement in case, talking about Christian McCaffrey, by the way, sorry. We need to find a replacement in case he is not the same anymore. Anderson for depth, as he is aging for a running back, not hating, being honest. Look, you can be honest that Christian McCaffrey is getting older for a running back. We were talking before the season started about what we need to do with Christian McCaffrey and potentially move him to a wide receiver type of position more permanently because of the risks of how it's going to break down his body. So, like, yeah, I'm 100% with you. We don't know. He might have already fallen off a cliff and we just haven't seen it yet. We don't know. That being said, I don't think anybody would disagree with you. In fact, Steve said we have one already. Mosley, we need a third. Mostly? Anyway, yeah, so I don't know what's going to happen with JP Mason. Okay, let's talk about him for a second. He's a free agent. I don't know what's going to happen. He is a restricted free agent, so there's a shot there. If I remember correctly, there's a shot there. Then you slap a tender on him and see what happens. But I'm hoping JP Mason's back. I would like to see that. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He isn't, okay? You also have Isaac Guerendo, who showed flashes. Both of those guys, in addition to Christian McCaffrey, found themselves injured this season. I don't think Patrick Taylor Jr. is the answer. Not heading into the season, that's not what I'd be banking on. So I do think the 49ers should consider drafting a running back. This is a heavy running back room. I don't know where you draft that guy. It's a good question. I would not draft him early because I think the 49ers have too many big needs to draft him early. So, like, Genty and stuff, like, I wouldn't go there personally, because I think if you go there, then you're missing out on some stout defensive line talent that the 49ers desperately need. Because you guys got to remember, like, the defensive line is like a rising tide lifts all boats situation. When you look at, like, Ray Lewis and why Ray Lewis was so good for so long, part of it had to do with the fact that the defensive line in front of him was always good. Like Elvis Dumerville, like, there were always dogs on the defensive line for the Ravens. And what that means is guys get filtered. If they do sneak through the defensive line, it's a tight gap and your linebacker is just playing cleanup. Like, it's just that simple. And I'm not trying to say that Ray Lewis wasn't a great linebacker, but I am trying to say that great linebackers definitely benefit from great defensive lines. And the better the defensive line, the easier the job is for the linebacker in terms of coverage, in terms of responsibility, all of that. So, yes, I would absolutely love to see the 49ers pick up a running back, but not at the cost of top defensive line talent that the 49ers desperately need right now, because it takes years to develop those positions into the guys that they're going to be. Von Miller took years to be good. Who's the other guy that I was just thinking about? Shoot. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Guys take time to build that kind of talent. And so you want to get them in and get them moving and get them in the system. And it takes time. You saw what happened with the Rams, right? Like, it takes time. So these guys can be great. They can be. And you got to get them in and you got to start working them out. That's where I want to see the 49ers go. That's just my personal take. Let me know what you think in the comments about all this stuff. My goodness, this was a long one. Thank you for hanging out and making it to the end. You're a legend if you're still watching this video. Appreciate you and I hope you have a fantastic night.